Hi there, Malcolm here with my 10th video for Wyrmberg Games, and today I'll be bringing you an unboxing of Hero Realms and the character packs from White Wizard Games. For a few years now I've been a big fan of Star Realms, which is a space-themed combative deck building game. I've got the base game, the two main expansions and the character packs for, as well as a few other exhibits for it as well. At this year's UK Expo I picked up Hero Realms, which on the surface looks just like Star Realms, but with a more fantastical theme instead of a spacey racy theme. So let's have a closer look. So we have a rule book, which if you're familiar with Star Realms is basically the same as Star Realms. Health tracking cards in 4 different colours. Now, like with most deck building games, you start off with a basic hand of simple currency cards for buying extra cards from the trade row, and combat cards for dealing damage to the opponents. And there are enough of those cards for 4 players to get going. There's the deck of always available to buy fire gems, which will provide currency or damage, as well as 80 cards belonging to 4 different factions, which are available to buy during the game to build up your deck. And such cards may give you extra health, do damage to opponents, provide extra currency for buying new cards, and also allow you to do extra actions such as drawing more cards for your turn. Some cards require the playing of 2 of the same faction, in this case 2 green ones, to use the second ability underneath. And some cards you can use your second ability, but you have to trash the cards to do so. Trash cards leave play for the remainder of the game. And some of the more expensive cards require the collection of other cards which have high currency value in them to be able to pick them up later. There are also champion cards which stay in play the whole time until they're destroyed, in which case they're merely discarded, ready to be put into play again later on. And they have a defense cost which must be surpassed to destroy them. A grey defence may be bypassed and the damage can be given directly to the player, whereas the black defence must be destroyed before the player can take any damage. Now, to protect my cards, I also picked up some deck sleeves with Hero Realms printed on the back, which match the reverse of the cards as normal, giving them a nice feel, a good look, and hopefully they'll last lots of playing. I wanted some for my Star Realms, but they didn't have any. Now, usually you start off playing with a standard deck, but up to 4 players each have exactly the same starting cards. And okay, in a hand of 5 cards, there could be different variations of what has been held. Everyone has a very similar start. These character packs I picked up to add a bit of variety to the game. In each one, a player chooses which character they want to be. They start with the starting cards from these packs, so ignore the other ones I just showed you. And they'll also change other aspects, like the player's health. So let's open them up and see what I've got. So I'm starting with a ranger. How do you open these? So we start off with a nice character artwork. It gives you your health points, 58, which is 8 more than normal. Oh, what's a nice touch is I'll turn the card over. I could be a female ranger instead, if I so desired it. Matching health tracker cards, again if I turn them over, and the ranger's 2 special abilities. And on the reverse are the rules of what they do, as well as how the ranger performs overall. So the special abilities are Headshot. This is a 1-use only card. It sits in front of the player the whole time until it's used, at which point it is then removed from play. And in this case, it will kill an opponent's champion in play. And the once per turn ability of Track, which costs 2 currency to use, but allows you to look at the top 3 cards of the deck, put up to 2 of them into the discard pile, and then rearrange what's left in any order you desire. So it has a little bit of deck control there. Now 6 of the starting cards are the same as with the normal deck, with 5 1-value golds and a 2-value ruby, but with 4 unique cards just for the ranger deck. So there's the Hall of Calling, which has a 1 value to it, and a further discount of 1 for a champion to purchase. 2 black arrows of 1 damage each, with the ability to draw a card if you have a bow in hand, and a bow with a 2 damage to it. So the ranger, very nice, has a bit of sniping to it, and a little bit of scouting ahead to see what's coming. Cleric next. So there's the Cleric, at 55 health, they're 3 health weaker than the ranger, that's the female side. I like the fact that the clothing in each case is very similar, but obviously fixed to match gender. Score trackers, double-sided again. So this one's got Resurrect as the 1-shot ability, and this one will return a recently discarded champion back into play. And again, this one can be used once per turn at a cost of 2 currency, and it will give a target player extra 3 health, as well as giving a character that a champion they have in play 1 extra health for that turn. Needless to say, you probably use this on yourself most of the time, But in games of 3 or more players, you could use this to help a friend out, or at least an ally anyway. Of the 10 starting cards, 6 are the standard golds. There's prayer beads, with which, if you have 2 or more champions in play, will gain you either 2 currency or 5 health. A guard champion or defense 1. Remember, the opponents will need to destroy this guy before he can hurt you. And once a turn, he can do 1 damage. Doesn't sound like much, but as he sits in front of you on the table, he doesn't add to your hand limit of 5 cards. And 1 can add up over time. There's also a follower who's also a guard champion as well, with a damage of 1. So they may have different artwork, but it's exactly the same card basically. And a spiked mace for 2 damage. So the clerics, all about health, protection, and spiked maces, of course. So there we go, there's the fighter with 60 health, the highest so far, with a big ass sword. Or you can go very Constable Angua from the Discworld series by Terry Pratchett. Yeah, she's totally a werewolf. Double-sided health cards. So the disposable card is the Crushing Blow for a massive 8 hit points. So no mucking about there. And once a turn at a cost of 2 extra hit points with the Shoulder Bash. The starting hand is 6 gold and 1 ruby. A guard champion, the Shield Bearer, who is a defensive 3. A throwing axe with a damage of 2, which if it gives a total of 7 or more, gets you another card in hand. Very nice. And a long sword of damage 3. So the fighter does lots of damage. What a big surprise. And I presume the greater health makes up for the lack of finesse in the game. Wizards! I can't open this. Why can't I open it? There we go. So there's the him side and the her side. And this character has the standard starting health of 50. Health cards. The one-shot disposable card is Fireball, and this will do 4 damage to a player, and then 4 damage to each of their characters in play, ignoring the guard status. So that is pretty devastating. And the recurring one, for a cost of 2, gets you an extra health point, and you get to draw another card. Simple, but nice. 5 starting gold. Spell components, which gives you 1 currency, and a 1 discount to an action card to buy. A fire staff, which does 1 damage, and if there are already 2 action cards in play, you get to draw a card. 2 damage ignite cards, and a cat familiar champion, giving 1 health, or 1 gold, or 1 damage per turn. And this little chap's got a defense of 2. But not being a guard means you don't actually have to kill him to hurt the player. But why would you want to hurt that dear little facey? So the wizard is all about drawing extra cards into your hand, which is really good for getting through your deck quickly, the advantage of which is offset by the lower health compared to everyone else. And finally, the thief. So there she is at 52 health, and there he is at 52 health. Double-sided health cards. So their disposable card is the heist, which allows you to buy a card from another player's discard pile, claim it for your own. However, you cannot buy one of the other player's starting character cards, none of which have a printed cost on them. It also can't be done in the first or second turn, but then it's unlikely to have any of the market purchased cards in there at that point. The once a turn pickpocket at a cost of 2 gives you 3 health and forces an opponent to discard a card from their hand. This one has 7 of the original starting cards with 5 gold and 2 ruby cards, and 3 throwing knives, which do 1 damage each, plus an extra 2 damage for each other throwing knife played in that turn. Certainly early on in the game, quite dangerous. So the thief, not quite as thievery as I expected, but with an ability to make someone discard a card every turn, at a cost of 2, which can really reduce an opponent's choices. That's what you get in the Hero Realms box, as well as in the 5 character packs. I think I liked all the characters. I don't think there'd be one there I wouldn't use. If I had to pick a favourite, I'd probably go with a Ranger, but only time will tell which is the best. I hope you enjoyed that. I'm planning more unboxing videos, so watch this space. If you would like to see me unbox a particular game, then please leave a suggestion in the comment section down below, and as long as I've actually got the game, I'll do that. Otherwise, I'd like to know your favourite deck building game. And as usual, if you have nothing nice to say, then please do keep it to yourself. Thank you. And until next time, see you later.